Tonight,
So beautiful.
baby Chloe,
She's just gorgeous.
just 10 months old.
Just your typical Australian family.
Then the unthinkable.
Shaken violently. She was thrown onto a hard surface.
It just got worse and worse and worse and worse.
The babysitter charged with homicide,
No parent want to see their child die before them.
acquitted,
It's just a complete miscarriage of justice.
then back in the spotlight.
Why should my daughter be denied justice?
Chloe Murphy has been failed.
Will there be justice?
The person responsible is walking free.
Can you tell us what happened?
I'll love her for the rest of my life.
Hello, I'm Melissa Doyle and welcome to Sunday Night. We begin tonight with a staggering tangle of injustice. Melbourne baby Chloe Murphy died from horrific injuries sustained while she was in the care of a babysitter. A criminal trial saw that babysitter found not guilty of child homicide. Then a coronial inquest declared she was most likely responsible for Chloe's fatal injuries. But the law means she is unlikely to face trial again. Tonight, Chloe's parents speak exclusively and for the first time about their harrowing ordeal, the unfairness of being cross-examined multiple times while the babysitter wasn't, and their dogged determination against the odds to get justice for their little girl. But Denham Hitchcock's investigation begins with another first, a crucial account from an expert witness convinced baby Chloe was brutally killed.
Laurie, it's Denham. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, fine.
Doctor, thank you very much. I'm going to ask you a couple of specific questions. Is there any doubt that Chloe was shaken violently?
No,
Is there any doubt that she was picked up or grabbed violently?
no,
Is there any doubt that she was thrown onto a hard surface?
no,
Is it possible that she sustained these injuries through some sort of fall down those stairs?
no,
Is there any doubt that Chloe was murdered?
no,
Basically, my entire faith in the system is gone. It's just let us down so badly. It's let down my daughter so badly.
Anthony and Kat are Chloe's parents, and this is an important day. The coroner is about to give her findings into the violent death of their baby girl. They are hoping for some answers.
We're just your typical Australian family. I just wanted to take my wife out to dinner. We leave her at a babysitter, and this has happened. I just can't stomach that. I really can't stomach that. Why should my daughter be denied justice? It's just not right.
Tony and Kat are torn between extreme anger and devastating anguish. But to start with, they just want to tell you about their little girl, Chloe.
Whenever I'm alone with you.
Before you have kids, you think you understand love and you think you understand what love feels like. But when you see your little baby girl sort of open their eyes and look at you, it's just indescribable. It just melted me. So beautiful.
You make me feel like I am whole again.
Such a beautiful, gentle soul. She's just gorgeous. She knew how to wrap me around her little finger anyway.
Jed, you worked out already.
Oh, she had me worked out from day dot.
Kat, I can see you holding on to that bunny there.
Yeah.
Whose bunny was that?
He's my daughter. He's Chloe. Tony gave me for Easter, first year we met, and I just gave it to her.
This tiny, gurgling bundle had turned them into an instant family. And soon, Kat was preparing to go back to work.
Kat put a notice up on a website.
A website to find a nanny.
Basically, yeah.
Okay, and who responded to that?
Ketapat Jenkins.
This is a video posted online by Ketapat Jenkins, a 26-year-old married mother of two who had been living in Melbourne for 3 years. And the first time that she looked after Chloe, what was that like?
Well, basically the whole night we received running commentary, of what she was doing. She was feeding Chloe, how much she ate. She went to sleep, if she cried.
Which made you feel comfortable?
Basically, yeah.
December the 3rd, you take Chloe around so she can look after her for a second time. What was the reason for that?
I just really wanted to take Kat out to just go see a movie, have some dinner, just relax and enjoy an evening together.
A few hours to themselves, that's all they wanted. So they placed Chloe into the car to bring her around and drop her off at the babysitter's house. It's Friday night, and they turn into this street at 7:30 p.m.
Had the music on and Chloe's humming away to the music in the back. It was just so cute. She's just oblivious to anyone watching her. She's just humming away to it. Got there and so begins the nightmare, I guess.
Come in. How are you? Come in.
Good to see you. Do you remember if you said anything to Chloe before you left?
I just said, goodbye, my little princess. Be a good girl.
Tony and Kat felt Chloe was in good hands as they headed off on their date night. So dinner and a movie, a nice few hours just for the two of you.
Yeah, it was good. It was good just to relax.
No messages, no calls.
Nothing.
No, nothing.
So you're driving back. What time is this?
After movie finished, about
We
nearly
sort of
11.
gave her a call, didn't get an answer. So we knocked at the door. She opened.
Hello. Hi, Chloe. How are you, sweetie?
She had her phone in her hand, which kind of struck me as a little bit odd. And she was holding Chloe like as if she was asleep, like sort of cradling her. Her demeanour was just completely calm. Like you wouldn't think there's anything remotely wrong at that point. It was only when she said, why didn't you tell me your child has asthma? Both of us, well, she doesn't have asthma, what are you talking about? She was barely breathing. Like, she was really struggling for every breath. Absolutely no control of her body at all.
They were distraught over Chloe's condition and shocked by the lack of concern from the babysitter.
What's wrong?
What happened?
Her neck like a newborn baby. Could not control at all.
And just there's absolutely no response. Basically at that point, I just said to Kat, we need to go to hospital.
We said we're gonna go to hospital. She said, are you sure she's sleeping? I said, no, we're gonna go. She said, no, she's asleep.
We're gonna go. Let's go.
Tony and Kat know something is wrong. They rushed her to hospital.
Honey, you sure all right?
Chloe.
So you're leaning over the passenger seat.
Yeah, I just tried to wake her up and call her, but no response.
Go in the hospital
No.
now.
Okay, I'm just coming here. It's Tony here now.
Chloe, wake up.
The Royal Children's Hospital is less than 2 kilometres away. It's a few minutes at most. They arrive here at 11:30 p.m. Chloe is still unconscious. They have no idea why.
Picked her up and just bolted for the emergency. Had to run down some corridors. I just ran. I get to the emergency section and I didn't really know what to do, so I just ran to the front. And she took hold of her straight away, and the second she took her, she's going, oh shit, and just rushed straight out the back to the treatment area.
And they must be asking you a lot of questions about what happened and...
I didn't know what happened, but I just said to them, we just picked her up from the babysitter. We don't know what's happened.
Doctors were desperate to find out what was wrong with Chloe. It could be a blocked airway. It could be an allergic reaction. Finally, a scan was taken of Chloe's head. It showed massive brain damage.
To hear those words come out of the doctor's mouth, it just blew me away. Like, that's the last thing on earth I was expecting.
Chloe was rushed into surgery. She'd already been revived twice.
Every step of the way, it just got worse and worse and worse and worse.
The damage to a 10-month-old baby is so horrific, hospital staff contact police and they tell them this: "We have an infant in a critical condition with suspicious injuries. We are keeping her alive, but she is going to die." Chloe never stood a chance, but the final decision had to be made by Mum and Dad.
To actually say the words that basically end your child's life, physically say yes, turn the machines off, that was one of the hardest things I've ever had to deal with. I told her I loved her. I'll see her again one day. I'll love her for the rest of my life. And I'll get justice for her. Watching them take the tubes away and turn the machines off. The most horrible moment in my life. And just to feel her little body just stop.
No parent want to see like their child die before them.
Chloe passed away on a Sunday, only 2 days after Tony ran through those doors. And from that day on, it became a homicide investigation. There is only one suspect.
She was found to have very severe retinal hemorrhages. The brain injury was called a subdural hematoma. It was a large subdural hematoma. It was bleeding that was compressing the brain.
Dr. Laurie Fraser is one of the world's leading experts on child abuse. Authorities requested she review all Chloe's medical reports.
She also had an injury to her arm that consisted of 3 fractures to her arm. It's really unusual to see this combination of arm fractures and head trauma.
How long was it before they had a suspect?
Well, next day they went around to her house and...
Babysitter's house?
Babysitter's house. Basically took her away for questioning.
Miss Jenkins, Denham from Sunday night. When was the first time that you knew that there was something wrong with baby Chloe?
I'm sorry. I don't have anything to say, okay? I'm really sorry.
When we found and questioned Ketapat Jenkins, she didn't have much to say. Police didn't get a lot of information either, and they interviewed her twice. Critically, she claimed she only noticed Chloe had trouble breathing when she checked on her in bed. So, police started gathering evidence. Listening devices were planted at Ketapat's home and in her car. Incredibly, she continued to work as a babysitter. Here, she describes a child she was caring for.
The fat one should have a higher chance of dying because I didn't look after the fat one proper. Sometimes it slipped out of the walker. I died out for a bit of cigarette. Next, I turned around. The fell to the floor.
Is there anything you'd like to say?
No comments, thank you.
The investigation took 15 months. But on the 7th of March 2012, Ketapat Jenkins was charged with child homicide. There was no coronial inquest. Police and the public prosecutor were confident they had a strong case, so the matter went straight to trial at the Supreme Court. From day one, Ketapat Jenkins exercised her right to remain silent.
The state must prove beyond reasonable doubt the guilt of an accused person. Because of that, the accused doesn't have to say anything. A person has the right to silence, and they may decide not to say anything for a number of reasons. And it does not necessarily mean that they decide not to say something because of a consciousness of guilt.
Forensic pathologist Dr. Byron Collins was hired by Ketapat's defence team. His assessment? No single scenario explains what happened to Chloe.
A simple shaking would be unlikely to produce the brain damage. It certainly wouldn't have produced the skull fracture because that requires blunt force trauma basically to that area of the skull. A complicated fall downstairs could have produced it.
The trial lasted 5 weeks. The accused remained silent. The jury took 3 days to reach its verdict. What's your first reaction?
To get to that point and hear not guilty, was just devastated. I basically went through the full range of emotions, from being completely inconsolable to just angry, like unbelievably angry.
That anger, their desperation to find the truth, kept them going. They requested a coronial inquest. They hoped and prayed that this time, Kedapat would be forced to testify under oath.
When I wrote the letter to ask for a coronial inquest, I asked that she take the stand and at least, if nothing else, be cross-examined for it. Hear her side of things.
But when the inquest began in February this year, the coroner ruled that Kedapat be excused from giving evidence because she may incriminate herself. To be clear, she had beaten a homicide charge, and now, in this new process, she was excused from giving evidence because she might say something that could reveal her guilt.
It's infuriating. I've had to take the stand 3 times. My wife, Kat's, had to take the stand twice. Why should she be excused from that? I just don't understand it.
At the inquest, all 9 medical experts agreed the injuries occurred in the babysitter's house. They all agree there are 5 possible scenarios. 1, Chloe falls from the first floor. Her carer grabs her by the arm and tries to save her, but fails. 2, Chloe is picked up by the arm and thrown over the edge. 3, she could have fallen down the stairs, but those injuries would only have occurred if she was in the arms of her carer. 4th, Chloe could have tumbled down the stairs by herself in a walker. The final scenario, and the most likely, is also the most upsetting of all.
Sometime during that 8 to 10:30 or 11 p.m. period, something triggered the caregiver to become very, very violently angry with this little child. I believe that she was violently shaken, her arm was grabbed, and she was thrown down against a hard surface.
Everybody agreed that the amount of force, as we mentioned before, had to be severe.
Dr. Byron Collins was one of those 9 medical experts at the inquest. Remember, he was working for the team defending Kedapat Jenkins. I've got your report here, the report that was agreed to by the 9, including yourself. It says here, the first scenario was that Chloe was crying and upset. Kara was unable to settle her, grabbed her forearm and twisted it, and possibly grabbed her around the chest, shakes her and throws her onto the floor or wall.
No, that's not my report.
But this was submitted
that we all agree,
as part of the part of the hot tub.
Yes, that's one scenario.
Okay, but I assume you agreed to this.
Yes, we do. Yeah, as I said, there are multiple scenarios.
But you agreed that this was the most likely scenario.
Well, yes, I do.
3 weeks ago, and 2 long years after Kedapat was acquitted of child homicide, Coroner Jackie Hawkins found that on the balance of probabilities, Kedapat caused the injuries that led to Chloe's death.
I can't fathom how, with a finding this strong, that nobody can do anything about it, and that the person responsible is walking free.
Extremely frustrating that findings this strong have come out, and yet it seems like there's not much they can really do about it. Look, I'm just a bit dumbfounded by the whole process.
In Victoria, under the law of double jeopardy, a person cannot be tried for the same crime twice. That is, unless there's a compelling new development. Can they be retried for the same offence?
You can be retried for the same offence, providing there is new and fresh evidence. That's evidence that was not available at the time of the first trial.
Well, how often, in your experience, does fresh and new evidence come up?
It's very seldom that fresh or new evidence arises.
It's unclear if Kedapat Jenkins is still babysitting. However, she was looking after children when we found her.
The parents would just like a couple of things answered. You know you've been acquitted, so there's no problem answering the questions.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Do you believe she fell down your stairs?
I don't know. I'm sorry. Can I just go?
When did you first know there was something wrong with her?
Sorry, okay.
A series of medical experts said the injuries were non-accidental. What does that say about the care that you provide? Can you tell us what happened?
I'm sorry, okay? Just please.
Are you still working as a nanny?
No doubt that she's done it. I've got no doubt in my mind that if they brought her back to court, there'd be a completely different outcome. And that we'd finally get justice for Chloe.
The coroner has referred the case back to the Office of Public Prosecutions for further consideration. In your opinion, did the law fail Chloe Murphy?
I think tragically it would appear that Chloe Murphy has been failed in this instance. But we have to look at and hope that a new and fresh piece of evidence does emerge so that the matter can be retried.
Doctor, in the case of Chloe Murphy, did someone get away with murder?
Yes.
Denham Hitchcock reporting. The producer was Alex Garipoli. We'll